what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it. All right, so Brian Kelly.
It's 9, by the way.
It is 9,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, Brian Kelly met with the media yesterday. Let's start with a couple of edges of the D-lines. Here he's talking about the contributions of those edge rushers.
You want 9?
This is 5.
Okay.
Sorry. My bad.
You're good.
Versatility of the different players that he has. Savion Jones, Swinson, different types of players. One drops in coverage. The other one is much bigger and more physical at the line of scrimmage. But they also have to rush the passer. They also have to be able to be great run defenders. Some of the plays that Swinson made in terms of hustle plays, just getting him to play at a higher level coming into this year. And then add a Gabe Relaford, who's a true freshman that's starting to see some playing time. Deshaun Womack, Paris Shand, that whole group has really contributed in a large degree.
Now Kelly on the interior defensive line, Kelly 6.
A lot of the offseason was about, what are you going to do with the defensive line? They have been a strength for us. Bo's done a great job of making sure that those guys are gap conscious and fundamentally sound and getting off the ball. And we're playing with, as I mentioned, at one time we had Relaford, we had McKinley, we had Ahmad Bro, all on the field at one time. You had Spears at safety. You have 5 true freshmen on the field at one time, and those defensive tackles are doing a really good job. You had Suggs with his first step quickness. He's healthier now. He was battling an ankle injury. We got him back in the mix. Now you've got some versatility. You've got some big bodies that can stop the run. You've got some guys now that can add some pass rush. It's starting to come together for us.
Guys, those are seeds being planted now that will bear fruit in the future. 5 freshmen on the field. Only now they're being coached by Corey Raymond, Bo Davis, Kevin Peoples, Jake Olson, a staff that you're much more confident, or at least I'm more confident in from what I've seen this year.
That is wild. Like I didn't even really put it all together. You're watching that.
80% of the players on the field, freshmen. But again, guys that are now going to be molded by these coaches that you paid a lot of money to improve the groups. A year, 2 years, going to be awesome. Here is Kelly 9 and how they viewed the big plays allowed versus UCLA.
I think you have to look at what are the big plays, right? The ones that you don't accept at any level are the big play runs, where you don't have structure to your defense and you don't have the levels. The runs that we saw against South Carolina, we eliminated those. They were not part of what happened on Saturday. These were mental mistakes. We didn't cover a back coming out of the backfield. Yeah. We didn't come out of a blitz pattern when we should have been coming out of a blitz pattern and not recognizing, what that was. We got beat on a fabulous throw down the sideline on a back shoulder. I can live with those. Those are competitive plays down the field when you're in man-to-man coverage. Maybe the ones that we'd like to be better on are, the in-breaking routes in man coverage. Let's take away the inside, force the ball outside. Those are the things with some younger players that we've got to just be better at.
I love this answer at multiple levels, Jake, because certainly I like the fact LSU's going single high, play man coverage, trying to create havoc.
Yeah.
But the slant game, all that kind of, it has been too easy.
Yeah.
And I just love hearing it mentioned because, yes, it's been way too easy. And that as long as I know that's a point of focus, something they're working on, okay. And I agree on the back shoulder play. I agree on the play down the sideline for a half. Like, you're right there. Those are just great plays. You got to get beat sometimes. You just don't want to get beat with the big mental busts.
Yeah, the run plays against South Carolina, we all know, you can't have those. Those are too game-changing, and, you're fortunate to be able to fight back into that game. Those big hitters like that, those are crushers. And there's still things in the middle of the football field, what he's talking about, inside leverage. I mean, it's something we've talked about on the broadcast for the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Really go back to the USC game. Where did they make their hay? It was the middle of the football field.
Yeah.
That last drive that USC had, right? You had a safety that had an MA, huge gaping hole right there in the middle of your defense. And there's this soft spot in the LSU defense right now that teams are taking advantage of. But like BK saying here, you slide inside, leverage, technique, and you kind of take some of that away. That's an easy fix. Now you got to get it done still. I don't want to say oh yeah, sure, you got it done. You still got to go out there and do it. But those are things that you clean up from what South Carolina looked like to what it looked like in the run game against UCLA. Now you got to continue to get rid of those things. You got to continue to the things that you keep giving up to these teams. You got to take that away game by game.
A couple more Brian Kelly's pieces to get to here. Something that I thought needed to be mentioned. This is Kelly 17 talking about Xavier Thomas.
I just like the way he plays the game. You know, he plays it with, right on the edge with kind of almost a recklessness, but under control, plays with confidence, plays like a veteran that's been there. And look, you love that because you want to go out and, especially in special teams, you want to go out and make blocks for him. You know, you want to go out there and give him a chance to make a play for you. I think he's the best in the country. So why wouldn't you want to be on that team? But I think it's the same way on offense, and he's carrying that, to what he does in running routes and running the football. We missed the block on that counter. If we just kick out the end, that thing's gone for a touchdown. We just miss a block there. So, yeah, I like what he's doing. The versatility, as you mentioned, is what he brings.
And he was fantastic. A little touch pass that he found a way to finish in the end zone. The over-the-shoulder catch. I thought that was, so he didn't actually get into the over-the-shoulder catch there. Interesting. It doesn't matter. I thought that was the answer, but there's an answer where Brian Kelly talks about how on that punt, which is an absolute rocket shot. If he doesn't catch
punter,
that,
my God,
yeah,
all day.
His dropping on the 5's crazy too. But it's like if Xavier Thomas doesn't catch that fully Willie Mays running over the shoulder style, ball probably goes to the 5
at least.
Probably looking at a 100-yard putt basically, and instead he gives it back to you at the 40. So Xavier Thomas continues to be a very bright spot in terms of a transfer that's having great effect this year.
Yeah, he was our special teams player of the game because of that.
Nice.
How long has it been since LSU's had somebody back there that you have that kind of feeling towards? Like you have this confidence. He's got a confidence. And look, Clayton last year, shout out, like you're the fair catch guy. I've been in that position as well. You did your job, but now you've got some excitement. Now you have a player, like he said, that the players want to block for because they know more times than not, whatever he has to do to return it, he's going to do it like that. Like most returners let that ball go because the punter boomed it, right?
Yeah.
You've got a landmark where you stand. He punted past your head. You're going to let it go. I mean, Willie Mays Hayes is right. Like that's what he went out there and did, and that saves you so much field position. Also, like you got a 12-yard return after you called it?
Yeah. You still got back. Yeah.
It was
probably a functional 40 yards of hidden yardage saved there.
And that's somebody that we saw get in the end zone. He's run counter before at the running back position. He is somebody that can do a lot of different things. I loved what him and Aaron Anderson have brought to this offense. I loved seeing Aaron Anderson get just like a little quick, little smoke now route, just get it in his hands, allow him to make one guy miss, and he picks up 11 yards.
And so my guy Ryan in the chat says we're sitting here again. I think talking about some of the defense struggles, but again, I got to be clear about this, guys. We're not here again. This defense is not the mental bust, not give a damn technique disaster that last year's was. It's not. It's not great. It's not like a dominant defense, but it's not a hopeless one who doesn't care and plays with awful technique and allows guys to just run free through the secondary as if they were picking daisies. And so that's causing me to stay locked in. All right, let's see here. Here's what Coach Kelly had to say about. Which one do I want to do? Replacing Harold Perkins? Yeah, go to Kelly 10. This is on, how do you replace Perk?
Harold Perkins was gifted enough to play a receiver and play both as a linebacker and a nickel. We don't have any of those guys hanging around the locker room other than one. So, you're either in 3 linebackers, right, and then have to deal with that linebacker being in space and covering a lot in space, i.e. against most likely a receiver, or you got to take him out and you got to put a guy that's a hybrid that can play a little bit, in the box, but mostly in space. So that's generally what you're dealing with.
So maybe a little flippant about replacing Harold Perkins yesterday. I mean, again, like I said, bottom line, you get worse when you use a player that caliber. This year, it's maybe not as impactful, but as Coach Kelly's talking about there, there was a hybrid factor to Perk where you could basically be in nickel or be in a 3 linebacker look, and you weren't actually changing personnel. That changes now.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. It feels like you'll bring Major Burns back to the star position. Jordan Allen probably go back there to the safety position. Whit Weeks, Greg Penn going to stay right there in the middle, and that's probably what it's going to look like. But to his point, offenses didn't really know what you were going to utilize when you had Perk in because he could do both. Now, they know you lose that advantage.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.